What's good, YouTube? Welcome back. Today it is the LazyDaze Channel, and we're back at it again with some more history reaction for you guys today. And we're doing some more HistoryMarche content for you, and we're sticking on the Hannibal series. And today we've got Battle of Ager 217 BC Hannibal Part 8. We're really enjoying this over here on this channel. Really enjoy HistoryMarche's content. If you haven't already, please head over to the page. A link will be in the description box down below. If you guys are enjoying our content, like, comment,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell. We're just going to jump straight into this one.
Let's do this.
It's late in the year 217 BC. Destroyed towns and burned farmland stretch as far as the eye can see. Hannibal had plundered the Ager Falernus valley, perhaps the richest region in all of Rome. But he is now surrounded and trapped by a more numerous Roman army, led by a general who seems to know all about his old tricks. With cold weather approaching, the Carthaginian general is running out of time. It's summer 217 BC. Having decided not to march on Rome, Hannibal went back across the Apennine Mountains. He ordered that all military-aged Roman males that were encountered on the march were to be killed. But the Carthaginian general had reasons to worry. His army fought in 3 battles without ever fully recovering from the crossing of the Alps. And by now, the men showed signs of scurvy.
I'm still on there. Just imagine, like, just seeing them walking past, and you're like, well, I'm alright. I'm just a farmer. Just dead. Like, do you know what I mean? You see them walking past, you're like hiding away. You think you're alright, and they're just like, nah, sorry, my man. There's a possibility.
See you later.
Literally. Oh my god. Wow.
His army fought in 3 battles without ever fully recovering from the crossing of the Alps. And by now, the men showed signs of scurvy and the horses of mange, both caused by vitamin deficiency. After 10 days, the Carthaginian army reached the Adriatic Sea. Hannibal allowed the men to recover through eating the plentiful produce gathered from this rich area. The horses were bathed in the sour wine which had been captured in great quantities to restore the condition of their coats.
I wish I was one of them horses, bro. Oh my god.
You just want to get
bathed in wine. Holy shit, that's now my fantasy. I want to be bathed in wine by lesbians. Oh, sweet my lord.
Cuz, what is it with you and lesbians?
It's either that or some
The
fit
heart
milk.
wants what it can't get.
I know.
Cornelius Scipio was sent
Hand
as
50
proconsul
You're
to
terrible.
Iberia with reinforcements of some 30 new ships, 8,000 troops, and fresh supplies. What persuaded the Senate to divert such valuable resources to Iberia at a time when Hannibal was on a path of destruction in Italy was their desire to prevent reinforcements from reaching Hannibal by land. But more importantly, it was the Senate's determination upon a long-term Roman involvement in Iberia, made possible by Gnaeus' success on the battlefield at Tarraco and Ebro, as well
stole
as his
their
flexible
ships.
diplomatic methods through which he forged treaties of neutrality and alliances that brought many Iberian tribes to the Roman side. It is Gnaeus' ability to act autonomously without waiting for directives from Rome that gave the Senate a strategic advantage halfway across the Mediterranean, where they could otherwise exert no direct control. The Senate felt assured that by supporting the Scipio brothers in Iberia, Rome would have good prospects for fighting the Carthaginians in their own backyard.
Okay.
Back in Italy, With the army restored to health, Hannibal continued advancing down the coast. He sent a message by sea
Some
to
extremely
Carthage,
drunk
reporting on the
horses.
situation in Italy. The Carthaginian Senate expressed delight with his progress and promised aid to support his campaign. Meanwhile, the appointed dictator, Quintus Fabius Maximus, took command of Geminus's remaining 4 legions and went after Hannibal. Replacement of the terrible losses at Lake Trasimene required an emergency levy of 2 additional legions, which brought the dictator's army to around 40,000, including allies.
Okay.
It is possible that some of the new recruits were very young and older men, originally intended for Rome's city garrison, with some in the process of being trained while on the march. Fabius was a man in his late 50s, rather old by the standards of Roman generals, but he was a proven commander. Having been awarded a triumph for his victory over the Ligurians during his consulship in 233 BC, he also held the position of censor in 230 and was elected consul again in 228. Now as dictator, he was yet to reveal his plan on how he will deal with Hannibal. So far, he had been advancing cautiously, carefully scouting ahead to give himself plenty of warning of the enemy's presence.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Hannibal pillaged and burned his way down the coast, accumulating vast quantities of grain, cattle, and other produce. His plan was to reach southern Italy, where he expected to sway some of Rome's allies to join him. The 2 commanders met for the first time in northern Apulia, encamping just 10 kilometers apart. Hannibal immediately offered battle outside the Roman camp. But
Let's do this.
no response came from Fabius. The Carthaginian general waited long enough to impress his own men with the enemy's timidity before leading the army back into camp. The following morning, Hannibal continued the march, ravaging the countryside as he went, in an attempt to goad Fabius into battle. He provokingly went past the Roman army back into the Apennine Mountains. But the Roman dictator merely followed the enemy and apparently had no intention of risking a battle under any circumstances. This was certainly wise, as nearly half of his army was made up of raw recruits, and some of the men were in awe of Hannibal, who had defeated the Roman armies on 3 occasions
you
that
would
year.
be shiting your
Yeah.
hands, wouldn't you?
I mean, imagine
But
if
Fabius is
your camp's just on the other side and you see them marching out, and you're just in shock seeing
you
this
heard-
man.
And you heard that he done
You've
an
heard the
ambush.
legend. You've heard the
ambush
legend.
would have done me in.
Yeah, I think the ambush would have been like, oh Jesus Christ.
And
He's,
this guy, and like your commander at the moment is like, yeah, we're gonna camp in the mountain. He's like, well, what?
you see him walk past in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, Dave, get up. What's it? Look outside the tent. Oh man,
Mate.
like
yeah.
that's ballsy.
It is ballsy. It is ballsy.
It is ballsy. But did he know that he wanted them to attack him? But he knew.
Yeah, Hannibal wanted it. Like,
This
Hannibal
Fabius
wanted it.
bloke's smart. I'll give
Yeah.
it to him.
strategy wasn't too popular in Rome. Notwithstanding the disasters of the Trebia and Trasimene, powerful elements of the Roman Senate still believed that Hannibal could be defeated in a pitched battle. Although he was appointed dictator, the Senate restricted Fabius's freedom of action by denying him the right to choose his own second-in-command. Instead, they foisted upon him Marcus Minucius Rufus, a former consul.
Okay.
Nevertheless, as Hannibal continued across the
More on me
Apennines,
later.
Yeah, I
Fabius
saw that.
shadowed him. The hilly country favoured the Romans, allowing Fabius to stick to the high ground and only encamp in positions that Hannibal would never risk attacking. The dictator's plan was
Okay.
to deprive the enemy of food supplies by launching small-scale attacks on Carthaginian foraging parties, not inflicting many casualties, but making it difficult for them to gather food and fodder. But he would never risk a direct confrontation. Fabius also instructed inhabitants of surrounding villages to take with them all of the animals and food they can, before destroying and burning everything that's left behind and seek refuge in fortified towns. This tactic, which would later become known as the Fabian strategy, served not only to deplete Hannibal's forces, but also to gradually rebuild Roman military confidence.
Okay.
Hannibal understood that he needed to force an open battle in order to exploit the tactical superiority of his own army and prevent the situation from developing into an exhausting war of attrition that he cannot sustain.
Yeah.
He
okay,
clearly
I feel
appreciated the implications to his war effort if Fabius would continue with this new strategy. But the cunning Carthaginian general had a plan.
Oh, I like a plan from the Carthaginian general.
Fabius showed great skill to keep close to the enemy without giving him an opportunity to fight. But by the time Hannibal passed the walled city of Beneventum, the Roman army had fallen 2 days' march behind. The Carthaginian general planned to enter Campania and devastate the Ager Falernus, perhaps the richest area in Rome, famous for its exquisite wines and fertile land that made it the breadbasket of the Republic. He felt that threatening such a prominent area, inhabited by Roman citizens, would either provoke Fabius into giving battle or demonstrate, at last, Rome's weakness, which would, hopefully, make Capua, Rome's second largest city, along with other cities, switch sides. Upon entering the valley, Hannibal unleashed his troops, ordering them to strip the region of supplies, and then burn all that remained. Immense amounts of valuables were taken, as well as vast quantities of supplies and cattle. While Fabius' strategy was already unpopular, now his political power began crumbling as quickly as the burning rich estates and villas. But even when urged to seek battle by an angry Minucius, as well as other officers and displeased troops, the under-pressure Fabius would have none of it. Even though the Ager Falernus was burning, it was not enough to bring him down from the hills to challenge the Carthaginians.
Stick with your plan, my man.
It seems that Hannibal was the only one who understood the implications of Fabius's plan.
Yeah.
Hannibal failed to provoke an open battle, and despite the vast plunder that was taken, it was clear that he could not winter in the valley, as it couldn't sustain his army until spring. He needed to establish a base where his army could winter and enjoy the spoils of its raiding. Several points led out from the valley, but Fabius had already strengthened the garrisons on the river to the south and placed small contingents on the eastern and western ends of the valley. Trying to force his way through any of these fortified points would be dangerous for Hannibal.
Okay.
And his plan was to come back the way he came, where he already knew the lay of the land. But the Roman dictator stationed 4,000 legionaries on higher ground that would block the pass through which Hannibal intended to exit. And he encamped with the rest of the army on the hillside further west, from where he could attack the Carthaginian rear once they tried to march out of the valley. Hannibal knew he was hemmed in, and that once his supplies dwindled, he would be forced to launch a direct attack against fortified Roman positions on unfavorable terrain where his cavalry would be unusable. And the longer he waited, the worse his situation would become.
Okay, so
So,
Fabius
he began
come up with a
making
good strategy
preparations.
so far.
Finally, a few weeks into the stalemate,
At that point, the only thing that I would think of would be to somehow get a swallow and get it to fly south, or not west, sorry, to home to send the ships to come pick me up. I think it's an African swallow or a European swallow that migrates. One of them does. I don't know what they use. They might use falcons or eagles back in there.
Okay.
I don't know. But yeah, I think the only way he's getting out there is by water, right?
Falcons or eagle? Eagles. I'm pretty sure eagles are like only. In
What's the one they
America.
had in the Mummy? What's that's a falcon. Yeah, no, that is a falcon, isn't it? Yeah, it's a falcon.
Yeah, falcon's different to an eagle.
Yeah, so I mean falcon. So I got one right. Anyway, I think the only way he's getting out there is by water.
You think the only way? I don't know. There's got to be another way.
I don't know. He can't go uphill.
We'll see what
into
happens.
the stalemate, Hannibal ordered the troops to eat a hearty supper and go to bed early. to get as much rest as possible for the night ahead.
He likes a nighttime
As
run.
all activities in the 3 camps quietened down, the guards remained on their posts, and the campfires lit up the night sky. It seemed like another uneventful day had ended.
Okay.
But about an hour before daybreak, a mass of torches appeared,
There we go.
heading across a small ridge in front of the pass. It seemed that Hannibal decided to force his way out after all. Thinking they were being outflanked, the 4,000 Roman troops holding the pass left their position to block the enemy's movement.
It's not all of
Little
them.
did they know that the column
Someone's
of
gone round the
torches
back.
weren't enemy soldiers, but thousands of captured
Cattle.
oxen with burning branches tied to their horns, guided by Carthaginian camp followers.
Nice.
Upon reaching the milling animals, the legionnaires halted in confusion.
All 4,000 they've gone round the back. They've gone
Out
round
of
the
the
back.
darkness came about 2,000 Iberian javelin men. Although outnumbered 2 to 1, they were more nimble than the heavily armoured Romans, and more accustomed to fighting in rugged terrain. As the fighting raged on the ridge, Hannibal was already moving with the rest of his army in total silence. He planned to flank the Roman contingent through a very narrow passage that was now left unguarded. Fabius saw the torchlight and heard the noise of the fighting, but refused to move from his camp in the darkness, despite the urgings of his officers and Minucius in particular.
Okay,
Given the
now we've made a
problems of
mistake,
fighting a
Fabius.
night battle and the relative inexperience of his
Yeah.
soldiers, Fabius probably made the correct decision.
Oh no.
He had
It's
no
got
way
a
of
point
knowing
though.
whether or not Hannibal was setting up another trap, and it is questionable whether the Romans would have been able to locate and intercept the enemy in time.
That's so
Hannibal
smart.
was
Yeah,
able to
man,
ascend the pass
Hannibal.
and escape with his army and plunder intact.
In
As
silence.
daylight
Total
broke, the
silence.
Carthaginian general reacted quicker than his opponent, sending a force of Iberian infantry from the rear of the column to support the embattled and outnumbered troops on the ridge.
Nice, nice.
The lightly armed and agile infantry managed not only to relieve the javelin men, but inflicted heavy losses on the Roman contingent. The way in which Hannibal extricated his army from a seemingly hopeless situation became a classic of ancient generalship, finding its way into nearly every historical narrative of the war and being used by later military manuals.
So well
Yeah,
done.
so well
So well
Fabius
done.
had been humiliated for allowing his enemy to escape. Even before Ager Falernus, many in Rome and within the army resented the
So he's just followed him the entire way, just allowed him to walk through everything. He's then butchered their rich area, and he's like, right, you ain't leaving here, mate. You're not getting away with this. And the next morning, oh, bollocks.
Yeah. Now you're fucked.
Now you're fucked.
Now you're fucked.
Now
you're
you're
fucked.
You
Like,
can't.
it was, I was on Fabius's side. Then this happens. I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah, bro,
not
come
much-
on.
What are you doing? If it had a word, it would have worked, but it didn't work.
There is the supporting idea of he's got half of his army is basically young and old conscripts, and you don't want to get in a battle, but at the same time,
No,
you've
he
just
didn't want to get into a battle where he couldn't win.
yeah,
Like,
but
he
he's
wanted
just
to
allowed him
select
to
it.
walk all over his own country, his own territory, rip it to
It's
shreds.
just Hannibal just got.
He's just got that instinct
just
of he
played-
likes playing at night time.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
likes
yeah,
doing
yeah.
a lot of movement at night. I
Yeah.
think that's where he's definitely got that skill that puts him apart from everyone else.
I reckon other generals have done it. You just haven't seen it as much.
But
I do know
how
what
could
you
he
mean.
move?
Off the time,
Yeah,
yes.
but like
Yeah.
48,000 men to go in total silence
Yeah.
an hour before daybreak.
Yeah,
Just start moving up through the hills, and that's mad. Oh
it's
my
crazy.
god!
It's absolutely crazy.
and within the army resented the dictator's passive strategy. But while Fabius's political reputation suffered, his troops actually gained valuable experience under his leadership. More importantly, he prevented Hannibal from potentially destroying another Roman army, which would have undoubtedly persuaded many of Rome's allies to defect.
This is also true.
And now he was following Hannibal back across the Apennines. The two commanders would meet again. If you ever wondered how we create maps for our videos,
guess
and you'd like to create some of your own,
that's
click
not
on the
the,
link in the description
end
to
of
check
the
out
story
Daniel
between these two
Hassenboz's class, Fantasy Map.
What's this? Hannibal escapes from is one of the most celebrated,
subterfuges, I think.
in all military history. The retreat was a trick designed to look like a trick, fooling Fabius into thinking that Hannibal was setting a trap, while in fact he was retreating as a result. The Romans didn't contest Hannibal's retreat, allowing him to escape from the valley. I see. So he made them believe that he was setting up an ambush.
He made them believe that he was setting
up
something
an
up,
ambush.
but in fact he's just set that
He was
up
just running
and he's
away.
just walked out the back door.
Yeah.
Genius.
So funny.
Absolute genius.
Yeah.
Oh.
Those who despised Fabius
Caution us.
mockingly nicknamed him Hannibal's... I can't even
Head
say
of grocers?
that's a Latin word I'm not even going to attempt.
No shit, I thought it was Surrey.
For following Hannibal around like the Roman slaves tasked with accompanying children to school carrying their books.
Ooh. That's a dig.
Yeah, it's a dig and a
Oh,
half.
dig.
Wow, is that the last one on that one? I think it might be. It is indeed. Well, I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed the little bits of extra information that HistoryMarche puts
We've got
up.
part 9 as well.
Huh?
There's another part.
Yeah, but I'm saying if this
Oh,
episode,
right, yeah.
I'm enjoying the things at the end of the
I am
episodes.
with you. I am with you.
If you guys are enjoying our content, then please like, comment,
Subscribe.
hit that notification bell, and we will catch you in the next video.
See you in a bit.